evening, Professor Letta, and thank you for being with us today and for your extremely insightful talk. To begin with, I would like to ask you, what is the main message you want the student to reflect upon after your talk?
The key point is the future of Europe. That is not for granted. European integration started after the Second World War, and we had two big phases. The first one, it was after the war, the idea to stop the war in Europe. And the second one, it was around the 90s, it was the idea Europe of the opportunities. So the idea to have, thanks to the European Union, more opportunities for our lives. Erasmus, free movement, no borders inside the European Union. It is not enough today. For the future, we have to build some new ideas, and the key idea, in my view, is the fact that in the world of tomorrow, in this world in which China, India are giants, enormous, they will overtake Europe soon. The only possibility to make European values still influential in the world is to stay together, to keep together, to be together as Europeans. If we stay separated, divided, we will be less influential in the world of tomorrow. This is why I think this is the message, the most important message. I trust in this generation. This generation is a generation of people truly European. And they know you know very well that without you, nationalism will raise and will create a lot of problem to our continent and to our way of life.
Just mentioning, during your talk, you just mentioned an Europe composed by two circles, right? Where there is like a closer integration and, let's say, a weaker one. But how can this dynamic can be harmonized, and how can it lead to further integration and not even to an even stronger fragmentation between these two blocks, let's say?
I think it's the only possible win-win solution. If not, we will continue to have, first of all, we risk to lose the UK, to miss the UK. Second, we risk to have a more fragmented and less effective Europe. With a two-circle Europe, we can have a large circle with countries like the UK, but for instance like Switzerland too, sharing policies with the others, like the single market, like the foreign trade, without having the final goal of the ever closer union. On the other hand, the euro area countries can stay together, having further integration, moving towards ever closer union at the euro area level, because it's the only way to make successful the euro. The euro without a more integrated economic euro area will be a failure, I fear. Monetary union is there, it worked until now with a lot of problems, but without the economic union, without a social economic union, it will be very difficult to continue with an integrated area. This is why I think the only possibility is to have this two-circle, and with this determination to have the possibility to complete the economic and monetary union as the big push to have a successful Europe.
And following on the same line, it has been argued that because of the severe economic recession, some states like Italy, Spain and Greece have become marginal parties in the European integration, but especially in the European government. Do you think this is true, and especially with focus on Italy, do you think that Renzi's government is succeeding in gaining credibility in the international context?
You know, I think that the role of Europe is a role in which all the countries can play a crucial role linked to their specific characteristics. Italy is a country with a pro-European tradition, always a pro-European tradition. Italy is a sort of pro-European avant-garde. We had always this role as Italians, and we need, in my view, to continue this role, because until now, the European integration was a big success for Italy. We had for 60 years growth, social cohesion, strength in the world, and the possibility, thanks to the euro, to resist to the financial crisis. Without the euro, Italy would have been like Argentina. We would have failed, and with the lira, without the euro, I don't want even to imagine the situation. So, for Italy to be in the European Union was a big success. But Italy needs a stronger European Union. This is why I think the role of the southern countries of Europe is to be well performing at their level, having budgets under control, but pushing at the European level for more pro-growth policies. That these policies are not an alternative in opposition to the accountability at the fiscal and budgetary level. I think it is a key point, and this key point has to be recognized as the flag, in my view, of the Italian approach to the European Union.
Now, you're president of the Italy as an association whose mission is the strengthening of the relationships between Italy and South Asian states. They share a common goal of integration among minorities. Now, do you think that the European Union is a successful model of integration, or would you design this model for the South Asian countries on an European model, United States one, or even like a completely new one?
It's very difficult to apply models from abroad to different stories, different traditions. What I see and what we see, this is why I am very much engaged to strengthen the relationship between Italy, Europe on the one side, and the ASEAN countries, so the Southeast Asian countries. Because it's the only part of Asia where you don't have giants with a very nationalistic approach. It's the only part of Asia where you have medium-sized countries with a good cooperation among them, till now trade cooperation, but maybe also something more than trade. And these countries are all minorities in ASEAN. Nobody is majority trying to eat the others. That is, in my view, the key value of the European integration. We have an integration of minorities without a majority winning. This is why I think there is the possibility to have a good link. These countries, like Indonesia, Vietnam, and the others, are very good for the SMEs, the typical SMEs of the European economic landscape, and of course of the Italian economic landscape. So I think it is an interesting framework, an interesting opportunity. The problem is to make the European citizens, the European entrepreneurs, the Italian entrepreneurs aware of this possibility, because they don't know what ASEAN is. So there's a problem of communication, and we have to work.
So do you imagine like a potential stronger cooperation with these countries that with the Eastern Bloc you mentioned before during your talk, or do you design a kind of different kind of a cooperation among the two blocs?
We have to start on the industrial cooperation among SMEs and the systems. I think with this cooperation we can have mutual positive benefits. Of course, it is not in opposition to the traditional and, of course, decisive relationship between Italy and Europe on one side, and China, India, Japan, Korea, the big powers in Asia. But we have to encourage this integration process of Southeast Asia countries. I think it's a good value, a positive value.
Moving to your current role as Dean of the Paris School of International Affairs at Sciences Po, you claim that you will devote energy and passion to the education of tomorrow's leader. What would you like to improve in the academic context, and especially what is one of your, the most relevant values you would like to teach to the youngest generations?
The first idea I tried to pass to the students, to the 1,300 students we had in PSIA, the Paris School of International Affairs, is the fact that we come from a period where the education was the education, the training for period of normality, of normal period, I would say. With the idea of crisis, like sort of walls between normal long periods. So we have, in my view, to train people to be leaders in time of crisis. That is, of course, not easy. You have to be flexible. You have to have always a compass in mind. For the information, you have Google. But Google can't give you the compass. And first of all, Google can't give you the compass to understand the priorities in the ranking of the informations. This is why the compass is so important. And this is why training people to be able to manage crisis is, in my view, today's most important task.
We're coming to the end of our interview, and as the last question, I would like to ask you, what is your opinion about Warwick Economic Summit, this entirely student-run conference?
I was really impressed. I had some news about the Warwick Economic Summit. I was very much interested, first of all, in the way in which you organize this summit. With the students, real protagonists, but not protagonists, marginal protagonists, but real protagonists. I was asked by a student to be here. I was convinced by a student to come here. And I was so happy because I think for the students to be protagonists in the organization of such a summit maybe is more important than studying a theoretical course of I don't know what, because it's true responsibility, accountability, team building. I think it's a great experience, and I will take note of this experience because it's very good.
Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for your time.
Thank you to you. Good luck.